Prince Harry, Journey to Invictus. We now return to Kensington Palace in London.
I love the fact that the enthusiasm is building.
Oh, it's huge.
There's no pressure, but the responsibility now lies with Canada to be able to carry off, you know, even better Invictus games. And
how big is the organization now to pull in more countries? You're getting, is it 2 new countries this year?
2 new countries, yeah.
You've got
so
Afghan
and hopefully
Iraqi,
and Iraq, yeah.
So you're
70 wounded Afghan soldiers competed for 7 spots heading to Toronto. They fought alongside Canadian troops.
Together we are stronger, we can overcome, we can walk this road together.
Now Canada welcomes the world. The Canadian Military Wives Choir follow a tradition that started in the UK as a community that connects through music, a ready-made support network.
We rise again in the waves out on the ocean.
To Tracy Lively, wife of an injured vet herself, Invictus is part of her calling.
What that means to the wounded warrior, to feel like they're not discarded, that they are part of society, and they are functional part of society. It's very personal. It's very personal.
I think people sometimes seem to forget what these guys and girls and their families have been put through over, you know, 15, 20 years of conflict. Just because it's no longer in the news, that doesn't mean that these, you know, arms and legs are going to grow back. It doesn't mean that, you know, private whoever it is mental health is going to suddenly get better. It takes work. It takes time. For my mind, if somebody that's been through military training to the point of where they think, or they're taught to believe that they're invincible, because that's the point of training to a certain extent, if someone like that can do the service that they've done, whether it's abroad or at home, and then stand up on a stage in front of millions of people and say, I suffer from psychological injuries, then in my mind, anybody should be able to do it.
I'm interested in how your journey worked for you to make Invictus authentic for yourself in coming clean with your own struggles.
You know, what we've tried to get across is the fact that everybody struggles, you know, whether it's daily stress, whether it's post-traumatic stress, whether it's depression, anxiety, alcoholism, whatever it is, it's okay to struggle. But the key is to firstly try and identify that in yourself, then be brave enough to ask for help.
It was only a few years ago Prince Harry felt brave enough to ask for help and get counseling.
I really regret not ever talking about it, you know. For the first 28 years of my life, never talked about it.
His long suppressed grief over his mother's death led to what he calls total chaos and very close to a complete breakdown in his late 20s.
The 27-year-old had been lying low since naked photos of him.
A website published nude photos of the prince
taken during a game of strip pool
with an unidentified woman
at a Las Vegas hotel were seen around the world.
That bad boy image was masking a private pain that he and his brother have only recently felt comfortable revealing.
Why Heads Together and why mental health?
It was your idea.
It was your idea.
Through their charity, Heads Together, Prince Harry and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have made it their mission to get people talking about mental health. No more stiff upper lip, even for the royals.
Yeah.
You know, you are, you know, uniquely bonded because of what we've been through.
Yeah.
But, you know, even Harry and I, over the years, have not talked enough about, you know, our mother.
We've never really talked about it. We've never really talked about losing a mum at such a young age. And I always thought to myself, you know, what's the point of bringing up the past? What's the point of bringing up something that's only going to make you sad? It ain't going to change it. It ain't going to bring her back. And when you start thinking like that, it can be really damaging. And you always said to me, you said, you know, you've got to sit down and think about those memories. But for me, it was like, don't want to think about it.
You have to prioritise, you know, prioritise your mental health. Yeah. You have to say to yourself, at some point, because it's very easy to run away from it, you know, to walk away from it and avoid it the whole time. You know, someone has to take the lead and has to be brave enough to force that conversation.
considering everything that you boys obviously sadly went through and the trauma that you experienced. You know, I do think it's incredible how strong and how you've been able to cope, really. And I put that down to your really early years, childhood experience. But also the relationship that you've got. You're amazingly close.
Yeah.
And yes, you're
Most
not...
of the time.
It is a sign of strength. It is a sign of bravery to ask for help. And we hope to, you know, create a foundation or create a culture in which it's totally acceptable to go, actually, you know what, I've had a really, really tough week. Can I just sit down and talk about it? Because in some cases, that's all that's needed.
Heads Together and Invictus seem to fit so beautifully together. The message is the same. Did you feel it was time for you to reveal your own personal struggle growing up so that the troops could also feel comfortable in coming clean with their own demons?
Of course, there's a leadership role there. And, you know, for William, Catherine and I, for all the work that we do in the areas that we do it, mental health kept coming around. And believe me, I mean, for anybody else who's sort of questioning that, it is amazing how much mental health connects all of these issues. And no matter whether it's, you know, heart disease, whether it's cancer, whether it's veterans, whatever it is, homelessness, it's all connected. And wouldn't it be great if we can prevent all that by, you know, by equipping the next generation so much better with the ability to be able to talk about their own mental health in a world that is just, you know, churning out, you know, all this sort of stuff. It's just, you know, a digital world, and they need to be equipped, and we need to lead by example. But yeah, you can't sit there with a little niggle thinking, I know exactly what you're going through. You can't sit there and listen to all these stories and encourage other people to come forward and speak out without at least sharing a little bit. Not oversharing, but sharing that little bit, saying, you know what, we're in the same position. We know exactly what you're going through. Maybe even if it's 10%, we know what you're going through. We're here for you. And if it means that people in our positions have to, you know, come forward and speak about something that arguably could have been spoken about a long time ago, then fantastic. If it gives other people comfort to come forward, then that's super. That's amazing.
Together we are stronger, we can overcome. We can walk this road together, we can stand as one. And now nothing can divide us. We are stronger together. Together we belong, together we are strong.
Coming up next, the young prince in Canada.
How old was I? I can't even remember how old I was. I was
6, 7.
I was very,
Very cute. Very cute.
then. Thanks, Lisa. That's really kind.
Prince Harry, journey to Invictus continues after this.